Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dylan Bender. I'm Sports Information Director here at Manchester University. Really excited to have the Final Four back here in Fort Wayne, and I'm joined here by members of the Elmhurst University Blue Jays. And Coach Baines, I'll start with you. Just talk about this season as a whole, career record, program record for wins, and just what does it mean to you guys to just have this outstanding season that you've had?
It's record-setting for the school and for these guys. It's been a long stretch. We've got some guys here that have been with us for 5-6 years, and so this has just been something that's just been progressing. I felt like 20 years ago when I got to Elmhurst as assistant, we were starting to become a nationally recognized program, and I feel like now this has been kind of the culmination of a lot of work and a lot of good teams to get to this point for these guys.
And Jake, Lavon, and Jay, you guys have been around for a while. What does it mean to you guys, some of the older guys that have been with this program, to have made some of the building blocks to get to here to Fort Wayne for this Final Four run?
It means everything. We've been working for a really long time to get to this point, and I know they both feel the same as well. And even the younger guys, it's really exciting for them to just getting on board and get to this point. So hopefully it could be like more continued of a tradition.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I feel like just yesterday I was a freshman coming in, just enjoying the moment. Now it's coming to an end, but it's the best game you can imagine, right? Final Four, controlling the last game, it's just been an amazing experience.
Yeah, just to build off what they say, like there's been a lot of ups and downs along the road, and it's just been a great experience to just play every day with these guys in practice. But yeah, it's been a great time.
And speaking of those ups and downs, you guys have been a resilient group. You've had second half comebacks in your last 3 games. Just talk about some of the resiliency and strength that you've had, not here just only during this tournament, but CCIW is really tough. Non-conference was really tough. So just as the year's gone on, how have you grown and been resilient to get to this Final Four position?
Yeah, I mean, all year we've been on the both ends of those types of games, really, especially in conference. And even going back more than a couple years ago, we took a lot of losses, all of us up here, and it's definitely built us to this point we're at right now. So.
Yeah, I just feel like we're more together now than we ever been. So no matter what's the score at half, I feel like we can just come back and win it as we proved before. So just all about togetherness.
Yeah, with the CCIW, there's a lot of talented guys in the league that has really helped us on our journey here, and yeah, it's a wonderful league with a lot of great guys, and yeah, it's helped us get here.
I think Jake touched on a little bit, this isn't just like they all got here and they started winning. There's a lot of adversity that goes into it, and I think that's something that gets lost in college athletics right now a little bit with transfer portals and all the other things. You know, sometimes you have to take it on the chin a little bit, and that adversity with a group and having a group of guys that have to work through that, that actually makes a group a lot stronger and really ties those bonds. They can sit there and think about that 8-17 year. I still remember it. It's pretty fresh. But you think about those years and how you have to work together and the trust factor that comes into that. Jake, when he was a freshman, would come up to me and goes, "Coach, why don't you trust me with this?" And I said, "I do trust you. It's just that you're not doing what we need to do." And now that's turned into he's talking to younger guys saying, "Just trust what Coach is telling you because it's going to work out." And I think that's just part of growth.
All right, we'll open it up now for questions for Coach or the student athletes.
I'm curious, Lavon, obviously Wabash has improved the most, I would say, probably in the paint and the post presence. What is your mindset going in, and how well those guys have been playing, especially down low over the last few games?
Yeah, they have made some improvements, but I just feel like I trust my work. I feel like I work very hard all season, summer, even now. I'm still working hard, so I just feel like I'll just trust my work and let that show.
Any more questions?
For any of you, it seemed like you guys locked in after that kind of crazy, the COVID-forced week where all the games in a short period of time. It seemed like after that you were able to lock in. Was something that happened that week that kind of put you on the trajectory that got you here? Does that seem like a turning point to you the way that does from the outside?
I would say definitely. I think right after that we were playing, I don't know if it was 2 or 3 weeks in a row, we were playing 3 games a week. We were playing the top half of like our league, and we took some tough ones. We were 12-5 at one point, so our backs were really against the wall. So I think after that, we kind of locked in and said we gotta figure this out quick before it comes to an end, really.
With that, you know, it's I think every team kind of goes through that at some point, and that just happened to be a culmination of a schedule and where we were at, and then we had a couple bad breaks. I mean, we had some pretty close games there. It wasn't like we were getting blown out. Those were tight games, and that's what. And you asked a question about you're in the tournament. We're winning some close games. I mean, we won an overtime game and a game at the buzzer last weekend, and now I'm super smart and sitting up here. You know, those are tight games, and I think when we were playing in January, we lost some of those, and it's, hey, what's going on with your team? I thought you guys were supposed to be good. There's the margin of error in our league and at this level is really small, and you just can't think you're too smart or too dumb. It's just you got to do what you're supposed to.
Talk about the mindset for me. I mean, we've talked before, Jake in particular. I know we mentioned after the last game, man, we're down 15 again. What's the mindset of when you're struggling early, and just keeping in your mind that you can get yourself back, Yeah, you want to get off to a great start, but sometimes it doesn't always work that way. How have you guys been able to, for all three of you guys, how have you been able to kind of dig yourself out of that and maintain the positivity that you guys can come back and still win a game?
I think at halftime it's just talking. Everyone feels very comfortable with each other here, and we can just trust each other on the court that we're going to come back and we're going to find a way to get some buckets and get some stops on defense. So it's just all about trusting each other at halftime.
I would say just like we're all really experienced, and just it's a long game, and like I said earlier, we've been on both sides of tough losses and tough wins, and it's really just staying patient and not really forcing things and stopping a bucket at a time. That's really it, and we know we stay poised.
I think, Tom Izzo always talks about having player-led teams and coach-led teams, and sometimes it's coach talk. I feel like I'm doing my best job when I lay off, and I try not to overcoach it. And because these guys, as Jay's talking in the halftime, they're talking a lot of stuff out, and I'm just saying, okay, well, we gotta get this screen figured out. What are you guys thinking? And they're already talking about it before I get in the locker room, and I think that's the kind of stuff that I think as a coach you want. Sometimes you have to give up a little bit of yourself because you don't want to be that guy that's not got his hands on everything. And for this group, I think for me, I found a comfort level of how much I can be hands off and how much I can be hands on, and they trust me in that sense, and they know that if I do get hands on, then it's important. And so I think that's been part of that process.
For you guys, just following up on that, what's that process been like, moving from freshman year to now, 5 and 6 years for some of you guys, to be able to feel confident to voice that opinion and to be part of that game plan?
Me and Coach Baines, we been through a lot of ups and downs. Not really me, but a lot of people know. Since freshman year I started playing well, then I went ineligible, and sophomore year I gained a lot of weight. I was down, and I really didn't pay that much. And junior year, sophomore year summer, we had a meeting. He was like, well, you had your time to be like, he said it was about producing now. You had your potential, now it's about producing. And it's just that summer, I just worked hard, I just thought about that, and it was just up from there.
Can I say with these guys before you talk, every single one of these guys has been benched in their career. And I don't like to say that to them much, but Jake Rhode was freshman of the year in the league and got benched, and Lavon was an unbelievable recruit and got benched, and Jay Militello came and was starting for us and got benched his first year, and they all took it the right way. I tried to communicate with them, and then they changed their games and they made changes, and I learned how to coach them better, and I think that's a testament to these guys, but just the trust level in our program, because they didn't bail. They stuck with it, and they learned how to work through some adversity. And I think that's the thing that you don't see, like I talk about in college athletics, you do have to stick with it. And if you got the right people and you do stick with it, you can be really good. And so I as Lavon's talking with that, that's what goes through my head when I see these guys and the level that we put in with them.
To answer your question, I would say a lot of it goes into Coach Baines trusting us. The games obviously even changed over the years since I've been a freshman. I mean, it's been a long time.
There was like a peach basket, like a weather ball.
But it's really credit, I think, to Coach just for adjusting on the fly and knowing, like, when I was a senior in high school, he had a team that was ranked 3 in the nation at one point, and they were just a different team than we were. And Coach, like, kind of was learning who we were and how we could play at our best and put us in the right positions.
Yeah, and to build off that, like, Coach was very transparent with us of what we needed to work on in the off season, and a lot of guys took that to heart, and we just put in the work in the off season. That's a lot of what I remember, and getting over these humps and where we are today.
Talk about, I mean, I know, John, you've always said you're kind of an offensive-minded guy, and team want to be, when you know when you're doing well is when you're doing well on offense. But talk about the defense that we've seen the last couple games here. I mean, not only you faced 2 of the nation's top scorers, but kind of limited them to single digits, bad shooting nights, and then I look at the defense at the end of regulation, at the end of overtime, and just smothering Calvin and Mary Hart and Baylor. Talk about how far this team has come defensively, and knowing that you've also got one of the highest scoring teams coming in here with Wabash to take on tomorrow.
Sure, our personnel, it kind of lends itself to that. You know, I wouldn't say that it's anything that we X and O'd. Wes Hooker is a premier defender. Jay Militello is a premier defender. Ocean Johnson's turned into a really good defender. Jonathan Zapinski can really guard at his position. So we have some guys that what we've been able to do is take out some of the other team's better players, or at least limit them, and it's largely been because we have some guys that can have the ability to do it. The other side of it is, you know, like Jake is not regarded as a defender, but he's really become crafty, and he's working hard at it, and he's trying. Lavon and some other the guys that are our offensive threats have raised their game. Dom Jinko has really, in the last couple of months, his defensive presence has become better, and so I think the other thing that happens, I believe, with our guys is we can't get out in transition unless we get stops. And we are a very good transition team. I say it humbly, but it's one of the best things we do. And when we get stops, we can get out in transition, and then we get moving. And so I think the guys just kind of bought into that. Is like, hey, if we can start locking down, we can get these, we can pull the ball off the rim. And that's what we were having trouble with Mary Hart Baylor in the first 10 minutes, that we couldn't grab a board. And once we started grabbing some rebounds, we were off to the races. And so it's been a huge part. That defense has turned into our offense, really.
All right, any more questions? All right, good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, get ready for practice. We're going to start.
I guess what he's saying is expected high scoring we are starting with 70, really good.